Hello there and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to separate these succulents as well as pot them up and how to water them. Before I started the separation, I ensured that the soil was wet. I had just given them a water so that it would be easier to work with and be able to pull apart. As you search around the succulents, you're going to gently pull the soil away from the base of the succulents and see which one is the loosest that you can gently pull away. So gently keep pushing the soil away from all of these succulents. And they start coming apart quite easily here as you're moving it around. You will notice here I'm holding 2 fingers underneath the base of the plant and around the stem, so that as I gently lift, I'm supporting the succulent, and then I will be able to gently lift apart. So one hand gently pulls and the other hand gently pushes. Keep going around the whole pot as you find each of them will start to separate with ease. Be sure to use your fingers underneath to support them and give a gentle tug to pull apart. Gently pull off any of the baby ones as well at the base of the plant. Lastly is the mother plant, the main one. I'm gently prising off any excess dirt around her roots at the moment. Now this one is going to be repotted straight away, straight into some well-draining soil. Before you pot her up, make sure to remove any old leaves, any brown leaves, any that maybe appear a bit rotten or yucky. Just gently peel them off. And a bowl that will fit all of her, because she's going to have more and more babies again, as will all of them. And place her just gently above some well-draining soil. Before you can plant and pot up all of the succulent cuttings, you actually need to take off any sort of residue, any sort of old leaves. Really clean up the bottoms of each succulent. Take off the really wet clumps of soil and give it a really strip it back. And we're going to leave it for a couple of days to be able to callous up. My recording, as I was talking earlier, my recording actually stopped, so I've had to re-record it. But yes, clean up the underneath really beautifully, and this is what they will all look like. Leave them for a couple of days to callous up, much like when you are playing on the jungle gym. They need to callous to heal. So it's been 3 days now, and you can see that they have dried off quite beautifully. Have a look here. They're not wet or damp. The soil is nice and dry, so they are perfect to be able to plant out. And so this is all dry. Here's an example of what a lot of them mean by callous. You can see here it's not an open wound, it is, and because it's calloused over, there is less chance of these beauties rotting once we plant them out and water minimally. So to show you the last part of the process when you are potting out your succulents, grab a pot that will fit the whole succulent in. I'm actually going to use a mix of these ones and these because I am going to be gifting and selling a lot of the succulents. If you're keeping them, grab something so it has room for air. And I'm using, just so you know what products to use, I'm going to be using Dalton's Cacti and Succulent Mix. It is a really nice, fine potting mix. So fill up your pot because sometimes it can be very confusing about what products to use, whether to, there are a lot of questions of whether to have the soil wet, have it dry. There we go, so fill it up. As you can see, it's a nice, fine, well-draining texture. Just poke a hole right down the centre so that this area here and to the soil. And the succulent is literally just going to sit on top of the soil. I'm going to water it very sparingly. So there is. If it gets dry, that's when you water it. You do not want it to sit in water. You want to just water it as need. If it starts to dry, water around the base of the plant. Avoid over top watering, because this area here, as they're trying to root, you will find that this area here may start to rot and they don't particularly like it. So pop it in there and water, and she should root within quite a few days. Actually, some of these already got the bases of the roots on them, so it probably won't take long at all. So I'm going to carry on and pot them up, and I'll show you what they look like once they're all done. So here we go, I've potted most of them up. There are some more up here, little babies, pop them in together. So now I will pop them into the sun, and you're going to water just a little. When watering, lift these little babies up. If you're in a small container, make sure you water down just on the base. So here they are enjoying the sunshine. Be sure to follow for more gardening tips and tricks for a thriving garden.